And welcome to another episode of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale with Don and Kevin. Kevin, how are you?
D.H. Henninger, how are you?
Doing fine, man. Doing fine. We know we're gonna do this podcast and take a few weeks off in the summer, and I can't think of a better guest to have on our show today. Today we're going to focus on a mission that's simple, it's powerful, it's life-changing. And Sean Alfonso is here to talk about how the Pearce Family Foundation of Scottsdale is helping Arizona veterans living with PTSD and service-related challenges through their service dog program. The foundation has changed lives by connecting veterans with loyal companions, healing support, and renewed independence. It's a story of service, resilience, and incredible bonds between veterans and their dogs. Welcome, Sean.
Thanks, Don.
Great to see you here today, man. Before, we always like to get into a little bit of our guests' personal backgrounds to get started. So I know you for a long time, so as you tell me about your personal background, I'll know whether you're telling the truth or not, man. So tell us about your personal background.
Am I going to need some Kleenex or anything?
Yeah, you might need to get a box out.
I need a
You
box
never
out.
know.
No,
Exactly right. But Sean, tell us about Sean.
Yeah, so born and raised in San Francisco, city right out of San Francisco, and moved out here to the Valley in '98, and had a couple kids with my first marriage. Ended in divorce when they were very young. Was living the single life for a couple years, single dad life, and then met my current wife. And her family has been in the Valley for 6 generations since the mid-1800s. Wow. So they have deep roots here in the Valley. Yeah. And that gave me a whole nother respect for Arizona. And with that, we kind of have the Pearce Family Foundation, kind of keep the family name going.
Tell us about the foundation, its roots, because it started with one sort of mission and then has evolved into what you're doing today. So give us a little background on the foundation, its roots, and so forth.
Yeah. So my wife, Megan, started it. Megan Pearce was her maiden name. She started it after she left Phoenix Children's Hospital Foundation. And what she wanted to do was alleviate the financial pressures of families who had a kid suffering from a chronic illness. So she would take care of all of their bills and expenses at the home, and they can just focus on getting their kid better. After a few years of doing that, she started the Angel Pups initiative, which got service dogs for children who had epilepsy, autism, diabetes, any of those kind of things, because these dogs are so highly trained that they can tell when a seizure is about to happen and get the child in a safe position. They can tell when the blood sugars are high or low and get the right kit that needs for the kid to get better. But after doing that for a few years while also running her event planning company, Girl About Town, she got kind of burnt out on the foundation. Her company was expanding through multiple cities, and it was just taken off by leaps and bounds. So she didn't have the time to focus on the Pearce Family Foundation. She hired a CEO to come in, which she did a great job, but it just wasn't the same not having a family member. So then that's when I decided to step up and take over the day-to-day operations of the Pearce Family Foundation. But my one caveat was I had to have a mission that I was, excited about. So that's when we wanted to stick with the dogs, and we figured helping veterans would be a great place to start.
Fantastic place to start. So when did that change take place?
About a year ago, almost a year ago.
So you've been going strong for a year now.
Yeah, we've been going strong for a year. And the cool thing about the Pearce Family Foundation is all the expenses, and you and I have been in the nonprofit game for a while. And one of the things about, being on the board of nonprofits or volunteering for nonprofits, you see so much financial waste. An organization brings in $1 million and 700,000 of it goes to rent and employees. So the cool thing about the Pearce Family Foundation is we office out of a building that my father-in-law owns, so rent-free. And we have an endowment that takes care of all of our expenses. Oh, wow. So every penny that's donated goes directly to the service dogs.
That's unusual. That's pretty cool.
It is. It is pretty neat. It's a great thing to have the generosity of a few family members that said, hey, you know what? We're going to fund the operations of this thing. You guys go out and raise money for the dogs. And so it's a great way to know that, 100% of your money is going to help a veterans, because these dogs are expensive.
I was going to say, that's got to be a lot of money.
They're upwards of $40,000.
Are they really?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the type of the dog that the veteran needs. Different living situations require different dogs. You know, if they have a big house and a big yard, they could have a bigger dog. It depends if the company we use to provide the service dogs, if they bred the dog at their facility and trained it, then that's a little bit of a lower price. They give us a better deal on it. But if they have to import the puppy from a different country, then we incur all those costs as well.
Wow. So what's the market like for finding dogs like that? I mean, there must be a system and a procedure for all that. That's $40,000 for dots. That's big time expense.
It is a big expense for something that you don't know how long it's going to last, right? There's no insurance policy if the dog gets hit by a car or, you know, like all dogs eventually go to heaven.
Right.
So we work with a couple different companies here in the Valley. We stay primarily here in the Valley because that's the community we want to impact. And we want the client to be able to access the training facility at least once a quarter for some continuing education.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't want to make it a burden for them to have to go to Yuma or up to Prescott or anything like that. So all of the centers we use are here in the Valley. And yeah, all of them have great training programs, and kind of depending on the veteran that we have and their needs will determine what breeder and trainer we go with, depending on what's in their pipeline. So for instance, if there's someone who maybe was, you know, some type of operator, you know, special forces or something like that in the military, came home with PTSD, and they want a Belgian Malinois, right? To kind of, because that's the dog that they're used to seeing day in and day out. We'll reach out to we work with 3 different trainers. We reach out to them and kind of see, you know, hey, do you have one in the pipeline? This is what we're looking for. And that'll be the company we go with. But then even then, we interview the veteran 3 or 4 times. You know, myself and a couple board members will interview them. Then we'll bring that to the whole board. Then I'll do another interview with them by myself. Then we take them to the trainer. They do a whole nother interview, because we have to really make sure that the veteran has the capability of taking care of the dog. Because a lot of these veterans are on medications as well. And they find that within 2 years of having a service dog to help with PTSD, they can start getting off of those medications.
Really?
Yeah, because once they start really trusting the dog, that the dog has their back and the dog can really help them. And when veterans come back, they're kind of like, I was taught these 3 stages: green, yellow, and red. Green, you're laid back, hanging out at church, by the pool, whatever it is. Yellow, maybe you're in a public place, little shady, out of your comfort zone. And then red is like, there's a fire right behind me. Well, when these veterans come back, they're at a high yellow to red constantly, and your nervous system just can't handle that. And that's really why they need the medication and stuff like that, the anxiety medication, because they're up at that high yellow, low red for such a long period of time. But once they start trusting this dog, they realize that dog is on the ready. That dog is at the high red constantly. I can let my guard down a little. And the more they trust the dog, the more they let their guard down. The more time they stay in the low yellow, maybe hit the green every now and then they can start getting off that medication.
Yeah, but that's a heck of a way of looking at how that whole process works. You know?
it is.
I hadn't thought about that before.
Yeah. Are there any, you mentioned the longevity of dogs, because obviously all dogs go to heaven, as you said. Are there any circumstances where a vet might outlive their service dog and need another one, or is it timed so that hopefully they don't need another dog once their dog passes away? Or
We assume that they'll probably need multiple dogs
Really?
within their lifetime.
Okay.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the vets that we're encountering are in their 40s, 30s. We had a couple apply that were a little younger, but we didn't feel that either the living situation or the stability was adequate at this time to place a dog in the home.
Okay.
So yeah, most of them are in their 30s or 40s. They'll probably have several service dogs.
Really?
A typical dog probably lasts 10 years,
was gonna
12
say, yeah.
years,
Okay,
if
yeah.
you're lucky. You know, we have little Lily at home. I think she's 15, but you know, we're like,
Yeah.
we're counting the days. So,
Yeah,
you know, depending on the breed as well.
And are they able to be an effective service animal for their entire life, or do they sort of retire near the end of their life and quit doing their duties that they're being trained to do?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I know that police dogs
Yeah.
retire out.
They do, that's
and
right.
military dogs retire out. I'm not sure. I would assume that being a PTSD service dog is probably a little bit more of a vacation than being a police canine
yeah.
or a military dog.
Good point.
And I would also assume that the bond is probably stronger. That probably helps a lot, having your best friend after 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, to where maybe at that point the PTSD service dog effectiveness doesn't need to be as high. But we do recommend, and actually we require it now, that they go for once a quarter continuous education. So it would probably be at one of those trainings that the trainer would probably say, you know, the dog's not on its game anymore, you know. And then at that point, maybe you're a person with 2 dogs, you know,
right,
your
right,
service dog and
pet
your pet dog.
You want to keep that dog you've got a relationship with.
Yeah, you would
sure.
never probably
Yeah.
want to give up your dog.
Yeah.
Or the vet's like, hey, you know what? I don't need it as much as I did. And the skill set that the dog still has is adequate for me. Let's just keep rolling.
So does it get to a point where a veteran gets out of that red zone because you know, it goes down to yellow or green, doesn't need the dog anymore? Or did they keep the dog throughout the rest of their life or the dog's life?
I would hope that they would get to that point where they don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, we've only been doing this for a year, so we don't have those analytics yet.
Yeah.
But that would be my goal.
Okay.
Would be that there comes a day where, hey, you know what? You know, now the dog is just my pet, and it's a highly skilled pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would never take the dog back. We would never give the dog to somebody else.
Right.
They just have a very highly skilled pet that they could take everywhere with them.
Well, you know, the bond there gets deep, doesn't it? You
Sure
know,
does.
yeah,
Oh,
it's something you can't separate for sure. You can see that, yeah. So you mentioned, you know, you changed the focus of the foundation because you have a passion for this, passion for vets. What's behind the passion? What's that all about?
I almost joined the military coming out of high school. And I got some advice that pointed me in a different direction. And so I never got that opportunity. And I have such a passion for how someone can sacrifice everything, their home, their family, the city they grew up in, to go anywhere somebody else tells them to go and do anything someone else tells them to do, to defend the freedoms of our country. So I knew right away when we were changing the dynamics of it, I either wanted to do military or law enforcement or first responders in general, paramedics, fire, police. Because these are the people that they put their life on the line day in and day out for very little gratitude. You know, firemen probably get a little more gratitude than anybody else.
You think?
Veterans get a little standing ovation at a ball game or something like that.
Memorial Day.
Yeah, but day in and day out, it's a thankless job. And so that was definitely the community that I wanted to target. And hopefully in the future, if we can continue to make these corporate partners and community partners and just general contributions, we can open it up to first responders as well.
That'd be great. Do you have a particular story of a personal story of a veteran who you've seen his or her life changed?
Not yet.
It's coming on.
It's
After
coming
a year,
on. Yeah,
right?
yeah. We'll come back on next year.
Yeah, we'll do it
update
again.
you,
Yeah, for
right
sure.
now the program's too new.
So what role has the community played in the first year of your development of this mission?
Community's been great. We've had some great corporate sponsors. Cobblestone Car Washes has really stepped up to the plate. True Shot Ammunition has stepped up. Constructed Matters, this small custom home and building company. They have really stepped up, and numerous other companies have stepped up and helped us with this new direction. But another program we have is our Angel Club. And that's really important to us because that's where the general community can just monthly donate $17 a month, $25 a month, $60 a month. And those little, when it comes right out of your debit card, you don't notice it, right? You get paid on Friday. $17 comes out on
Netflix,
Tuesday.
don't even see it.
Netflix, you don't see
How many of those things are there? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is one that's going to actually do good instead of waste your life away in front of the TV.
That's awesome.
This is a way that, and then you get a letter at the end of the year that says, hey, thank you for your $300 contribution or your $280 contribution or your $900 contribution. And you're like, oh man, I forgot about that. And we put a nice note in there, how you helped impact a veteran and this and that. And, it gives you the opportunity. And we always send those out around the holiday time. So it kind of gives you an opportunity to say, man, I did good this year without even knowing. You probably forgot that you were doing good. Mm-hmm. And it really impacts. And those are the donations that I like a lot. We love the corporate stuff because it's big checks and it's nice money and we need that to survive. But the reaction I get from our Angel Club members is really nice.
Well, it's a tax write-off too at tax time, man.
It's a tax write-off at tax time. Yeah, and then we throw events. We probably have the best sporting clay tournament in the valley.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we've been doing it for 12 years now up at Ben Avery. And the team at Ben Avery, they're amazing. And they've told my wife, so my wife started it because she didn't want to do another golf tournament. And I'm like, well, let's go sporting clay shooting. Let's do that. And she's amazing at events. Last year was my first time running it, and I was so nervous because they have told her time and time again how the Pearce Family Foundation Clays for a Cause is by far the best run charity event at Ben Avery.
No kidding.
And so here I come in, never doing it before. I'm like, I'm going to get crushed. But they were so kind to me. It went off without a hitch. But that's another great way to get involved. Come out, shoot some clays. And you don't have to be good. You could be a beginner. We have beginner awards. We have awards that are just for the best dressed person out there.
Do you get corporate sponsors for that event?
We do,
I
yeah.
bet. Who are some of your corporate sponsors for that event?
True Shot, once again,
Okay.
they're in the
Makes sense.
ammo business. They donate all of our ammunition, and they also give a cash sponsorship. Cobblestone, Joe Cocky, CVL,
Is Crescent Crown?
Crescent Crown.
They are?
They are, yeah.
Okay, so I've shot in your event before.
You did, yes. Yeah.
It's been about 5 years ago.
Yeah, so Crescent Crown has been our number one sponsor since day one. Crescent Crown, a funny story, my wife's family started Pearce Distributing.
Yeah.
And then my father-in-law sold that to Crescent Crown about 20
Right.
years ago.
Right.
I remember Pearce Distributing. I remember the name Pearce
Yeah.
Distributing.
Yeah. See, I thought that. I'm like, this all sounds so
All
familiar
sounds
to me.
familiar. Yep, there you go.
That was
How did you
fun.
do when you were out there shooting the clay?
I didn't do bad. I did not finish worst. They give a prize for who finishes last.
do, the duck and
I didn't-
cover.
And I did not get that prize. And I had
That's
never shot a gun in my life. And I did okay. I hit some targets.
That's
See,
all-
we got to get both you guys out there this year.
It was, and I had a blast.
It's a great time. It is
Yeah.
a fun time. It's the best. And
when is that event?
October 17th this year.
Okay.
Yep. So
mark that
we
down
wanted
for
to
sure.
make sure that ASU football was on the road because there's been some Saturdays we've done it
Yeah.
where it's like people are jamming from the Clays for a Cause right down to watch the football game. So we made sure they're out of town this year.
That's so
And
cool.
it's an amazing event. It's so fun. And the last couple years we've gotten, I don't know if we had golf carts when you were there, if you had to walk the whole course.
There was,
Yep.
there's
So
some golf carts.
we have the golf carts. You ride the golf cart from station to station.
yeah.
Do 10 stations, 5 shots at each station. If you don't have a shotgun, we let you borrow one.
Yeah.
Every team, you only need one shotgun per 4 people.
Okay. It's a team event too. So
Team event, yeah. You have it's a group of 4. It's like a golf.
like a golf event.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got your
It's like-
ringers and
Yeah, but it's a lot more fun than a golf event. It's a lot, and the thing I like about it as well, it's a lot faster. So there's not that much time away from the family on a Saturday. We also provide childcare now. So if you want to come out, keep your kids in the pavilion, we got some games and some coloring and all that stuff. You go out and shoot some clays and then come on back and have a cold beer and some lunch.
That's
and give out
perfect.
trophies.
I'm up for October 17th.
You should.
man.
My buddy
I'm
Terry
in, man.
Morrison, who works for Crescent Crown, called me up one day a couple years ago on a Friday and said, "What are you doing tomorrow? I need a 4th." And I thought, where are we playing golf at? Because when you say you need a 4th and it's on a Saturday,
Right.
we're going to be playing
course.
golf. And he goes, "No, we're going to shoot some clays." And I'm like, "We're going to do some what?" And I went out there and I had a blast. The people could not have been nicer. I had a really, really good time. They gave me a big tour of Ben Avery afterwards, which I thought was an amazing facility, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah,
So,
Crescent. That's funny that you say that. Crescent Crown, since they've started, they give us their lineup like they got changes day of.
do they?
Yeah, and Terry's an amazing guy. He's known my wife since she was a little girl.
Is that right?
Yeah, Terry used to work for my father-in-law.
Was that right? Okay,
yeah, so yeah, it's great.
That's
We love the guys at
fantastic.
Crescent Crown.
I'm gonna put it in the calendar, man. Yeah, October 17th.
So
for
call
sure.
Terry, tell him, get some more foursomes this year.
foursome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they usually do about 2 to 4,
Do they?
depending on which brands need some different marketing.
Yeah.
The non-alcoholic Heineken came out last year.
Yeah.
So they
And by the way,
sponsored that.
that's a good product. You ever had that?
We did. We had it at the Clays last year, and I loved it. I'm going to tell them to bring it back again this year because then I don't have to go sit at City Hall and get my alcohol permit.
Right.
So I'm like, bring some more of the non-alcohol, and we could have cold beers because I think Coors just came out with a new one too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, well, but a little safer too. People
Exactly.
driving after the event or whatever.
Yeah.
So that works out better that way, doesn't it? Yeah. Other events like that you do during the year?
we just did a pickleball tournament because pickleball is like the new thing.
How'd that go?
It went really well. It was our first pickleball tournament. We had an amazing turnout. The pickleball community is so close. Like everybody knows everybody. It's very competitive, but then like super friendly. It's a different type of community, and the entry into pickleball is so easy. That you can be playing with someone who's decent at pickleball and you've never played before, and you both can have a really good time. So it's a pretty fun sport.
It's become almost a headquarters in Scottsdale. With the pickleball, the national pickleball stuff is headquartered here now, so it's big here
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I have a buddy who was, I'm not sure if he still is, but he was the president of the United States Pickleball Association.
Yeah.
He left a job at the Ice Den to take that on probably about 18 years ago. I'm like, pickleball, what are you doing? You got a great gig here at the Ice Den. He goes, Sean, it's the new thing.
Yeah, he's right, isn't he?
He was, yeah.
For sure. So what's ahead for the foundation? What do you see down the road?
Just fundraising.
Fundraising more dogs, right?
More dogs, because the more money we raise, the more dogs we can provide to these veterans. And here in the Phoenix area, there's so many at-need veterans. And you and I have worked in the homeless population for a while, and I think that one of the ways to stop veterans from becoming homeless is helping them out sooner.
Sooner, yeah.
So they don't have to get into the drugs, they don't have to get into the alcohol or the substance abuse. If they have a best friend that will have their back and they know it, it gives them a companion for the low points of everydy's life.
Sean, do you guys have you ever had any interaction with the Scottsdale Veterans Commission at all?
Not the Scottsdale Veterans Commission. We work with the VFWs here in the Valley.
Yeah.
We work with the Veterans Affairs Department here in Arizona, statewide, where and that's a little more challenging because they want to kind of market us statewide, but we want to stay just here in the Phoenix metro area. But no, I haven't worked with them. We just, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but I just toured a couple weeks ago, assisted living, temporary living facility down in Central Phoenix. And I can't think of his name right now, but a great facility. And we're gonna get into there to where when they get a veteran into their, kind of more medical care center, that's usually like a 6 to 9 month program before they get into their transitional living facility on the same campus. They can kind of ID somebody who would be a good fit that they know is okay. They're taking the program seriously. They're going to graduate the program. They're going to go into assisted living, temporary, apartment housing, and then from that they'll be after transitional. They'll be out on their own. So yeah, we're going to try to work with the, kind of like the at risk for homelessness, and try to combat it because everybody needs a friend they can count on.
Don, do you know anybody at the Arizona Commission?
As a matter of fact, I happen to know the vice chair very well, who's going to be chair next year. I also know somebody who's running the military operations at Honor Health Hospital.
Okay.
I know that person pretty well as well, and so maybe I'll make an introduction for you for
That'd
sure.
be great.
See if
Yeah,
you can
I'd
make some
appreciate
connections.
that.
In fact, I told her we were doing this show today, and she's like, well, maybe there's connections we can help them out. So
right.
Yeah,
we'll
definitely.
Put that together for
Especially
sure.
if they
Yeah.
see somebody, and it's important because like we vet the veterans, we vet them
Mm-hmm.
very, very well.
How often do you have to? You mentioned earlier about some of the younger kids who weren't quite established yet, might not be ready for an animal at that point. What's your success rate on when people apply versus who actually gets a dog?
So we haven't had that many applicants yet,
Okay.
but we've probably turned down 40%.
Do you really?
Yeah, at this time. But like I said, we haven't had that many
That's
applicants.
got to be a difficult conversation.
It is a very difficult conversation. And one we didn't even really turn down. He kind of stepped away.
Really?
Because once we talked about it a little bit more, he was afraid that he wouldn't, and we were also afraid as well, he wouldn't be able to afford the care for a dog, the food, the veterinary hospital, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of our next goal as well, is to kind of have another fund that we raise for the people who, maybe you're taking good care of your service dog, you got your wife, your kids, everything, life is going great, and, something medically happens to your service dog, whether it's oral hygiene or whatever it is. I know if you have pets, you've gotten those bills, $4,000 because they had to pull some teeth or whatever. So we want to get a fund set aside for that as well. So then the veterans that have our dogs can be like, hey, I'm living fine and I'm saving and I'm, paying all my bills, but I just don't have an extra $4,000 for a hip surgery or a, an oral
Good point.
visit or something like that. So that's our next steps as well.
So how do people find you? What's your website?
PFFarizona.org.
PFFarizona.org.
Pierce Family Foundation.
Yep.
AZ.
Yeah, Arizona. Yep.
.org. Take a look at it. If you're a veteran out there, connect with it that way. If you want to just help a worthy cause, take a look at that too. So, Sean, thanks for the work you're doing for our veterans. It's amazing, man. It's great to catch up with you and learn more about what the program looks like. Fantastic work.
Don,
What an inspiration.
real quick, we've had, we're coming up on our 200th episode of the Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale. We've had probably, 6 or 7 different veteran organizations on, right?
Yeah.
Some of them that are doing legal services for veterans,
right.
remember?
Yeah.
Medical services for veterans. Now we have Sean here's talking about providing assistance for the animals.
Yeah.
Isn't it wonderful how Scottsdale is such a caring community and really tries to take care of our veterans?
It's happening. We can see it, and we have
And we
evidence
have a
of all
great
that, man.
Veterans
Yeah.
Commission that we talked about.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah, and it's timely coming just a couple of days after Memorial Day when it's front of center as well. So fantastic, Sean. Thank you so much, and thank you all for listening. We're going to take a couple of weeks off here as we get into summertime, and we'll be back probably sometime in the middle of August as we resume our next editions of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale.